Okay. Let me grab this box over here. Probably do a couple things I need to pull out. Oh, no, you got it right there. Okay. So, hey, here we are again. I got the tarp back out. I'm going to finish up, as you can see, from where I stopped the other day. Yesterday, I believe it was. Got the rears on. The last video I did before I did the reassembly video, I was having problems with the bearings slopping out. And I bought some STRC hubs to replace them. And I got thinking, there's a couple old tricks that you can do, and that's what I ended up doing. So it's a really simple thing. If you got aluminum hubs and the bearings don't quite slide in and hold, they kind of fall out. One thing you can do is take a Q-tip and some blue Loctite. Get your Q-tip kind of saturated. You're gonna waste some Loctite here, but you get your Q-tip kind of saturated a little bit, so you're not wiping up the Loctite, but you're leaving some behind. Put a little bit of Loctite in there, and just lightly wipe the inside race. You don't want to get it on the bottom race if at all possible. You just want it on the inside race. And then just a light wipe with that Q-tip around the inside race and slide your bearing in. And as that stuff dries, both fronts were falling out. I put the backs on. The backs weren't too bad. One of them was a little, I just put a little dab in there, wiped it around, and so the bearings in there. See, these bearings are falling out now. Now they're held in place, and the race and the actual bearing is going to do what it's supposed to do. And the way they were before, the bearings were, they were going to spin inside the race. I was sure of it. I could tell. Now, the tricky thing is you'll have to heat the thing up a bit to get the bearings out, because that Loctite will be kind of a pain. That's why you only want to use blue. I think they actually make a filler, but I don't know how well that works. I didn't have that. This is an old school trick. But you basically just heat that up. You can drop it in an oven. I got really hot tap water, and I can run that really hot tap water to get that aluminum nice hot, and then push those bearings out, and you clean up the inside. Once you're done with that, you're good to go. To reuse them and go from there. But just a little trick you can use if your bearings are slopping around, they're not really good in your aluminum carriers, to help hold them and maintain them in there. So I'm going to go ahead and reassemble. That's the right, and that's the left. So I'm going to finish this up a little bit, get the rest of this bad boy together. I think that's those are the two I had earlier. Put that one aside, and my small G. Yeah, I've got all the nut drivers for that, but these things, you can get out the whole handle and everything else just to get a nut driver on the end of it when that thing's right there. And it's just a lot faster and easier to use these little old school tees. Okay, now these actually fit really well, so all we got to do is get them in there. Oh, that's the wrong side. Picked up the wrong side. Boop. Slide that in. Do the same thing over here. Go ahead and slip that in. Using the washer as a little bit of spacer. And that, keeps all the slop out of it. I'm going to try to keep things as tight as possible. But not overly tight. With those. Thought I had them. I got those in my bag probably. Alright. This up. Now I do have to take these shocks back off and go through them as far as getting them set for ride heights and everything else, and that's something else I'll be doing. I initially was just going to put stoppers on it on the outside, so they didn't go in so far, but I need to put some bumps in it. After I redid the other ones with bumps, it's a little bit better in function, I think. So let me go ahead. There we go. You down there? Nerve damage is a bitch, man. Right side. Nerve damage is a bitch. Sometimes I drop shit right out of my hands and don't even realize I did it. Of course, I haven't been playing music in about 12 years, and I'm sure that's got a lot to do with my hand dexterity not being what it used to be, too. All right, so let's go ahead and put these in. Get this put together. I like this mid-motor drag race concepts training here. This thing is a nice piece, in my opinion. It actually is going to make it a little bit easier for replacement, I think. I had the ProLine Pro tranny in here, and it ate up a lot of real estate. Kind of surprised to how much real estate it did eat up. Come on now. Get up. That's what happens when you get a little too much thread lock. It gets up in your pieces and your damn bolts stick. It's just a little bit of thread lock making that happen. Alright, this is getting ridiculous. There. Should not have been that hard. Need that back up there. We'll get these two things in here. I still got to do all the final adjustments, so I got things close. I haven't finished them. That's it. I know where it's at. What that? Whenever. Sure, why not? We can get it going. You guys enjoy. Yeah, we're just gonna. Cool. Alright, that's that side. There you are. Shamizu shamazu. One last thing I'm gonna do. Let's see, I've got another Team Losi TLR arm there. I'm gonna pop that puppy on. Get that in there. A couple other people pop in. You guys got anything you want to ask? Go ahead. Just ask, type it out. I'll answer you. I'm not too attentive to it all the time, so I miss it right away. But anyways, let's see. All right. We'll run our axles back in. These are Lunsford titaniums. Put those back on. Lunsford titanium axle. Whoop. I have to do that. I'll do this side. Oh, sure. I didn't realize your face was in the noise. I don't care.
No, I just seen that. I'm like, oh.
There it is. So where'd my little piece go? Let's pop that one back out, I think, for a minute. I got a couple shims on there I need to take out. Got one to go on the very back, which I really actually don't even need. Not with these things. Little Calandra Racing 5mm shims. Two of them on each axle. You slide it through, and then your axle pin. And that should be close. Because it's a little sloppy. It is. Let's go ahead and put that third one. I put one on the back before. But we'll run them all on the front side. The back one don't really need one. Team Associated 3.5mm hex. That's for width. And you may want to use regular depth widths on those, because with the DE Racing front wheels that I have, I got to run these two thick spacers. Those are MIP axle spacers that I don't have to use with my axle setup. Slide these back through the other way. more there, I think. Wow. Slippery little fucker. What do we have to do? Put it all these on here. Well, come on now. Tiny little spacers. What's that painter guy's name? Bob, whatever. Tiny little trees. Tiny little spacers. Fuzzy haired painter. Yeah, I did all the years. He just passed. I don't know, but it's been maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe even a little bit longer now.
Making all the
Always did the paintings and.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, he like bushy brown hair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Basically a fro.
He passed.
Yeah. He passed some. I think in at least 4 or 5 years ago. I believe now.
No, I didn't know that. I thought it was
Tiny little papers, tiny little spacers. Come on, get in there.
Yeah, they're like cutouts of them now and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
All right, there we go. Team Associate 3.5. These were blue. Obviously, when you get them in blue, I deanodized them. They're not quite totally deanodized or polished, and I don't care because you're never going to see them unless the tires are off like they are. So, spacers, MIPs back on there. And these take out the distance between the, like I said, the DE front accelerator wheels. They're real thin wheels. They don't have a thick face, and with these thin spacers, they come in a bit, but you need these other spacers on the outside to hold the wheel tight because there's a big gap there. And that's it. That goes there. Get that out of the way. And now I can get this out. And install this girl. Well, that's kind of a bummer. Yeah, it's already loose, so that shouldn't be bad. I should be able to use that. Just happens to be right in the path. That's all right. I can get it in and out with this.
Well, that's a good sign people are starting to drive the motorcycle.
Oh yeah, it's 57, 58 degrees, I think the thermometer said today, and I don't have a rig ready to roll.
Yeah, it's like 52 right now.
3 of them close. I still need 2 bodies and mounting and things like that. Okay, come on up there. That in here is a lot shorter.
It is 52 degrees.
Yeah, still 52.
Yeah. 27.
This thing really put an angle on it. So this is why I'm swapping out in this Team 22 low. He's got a little kick out. The one thing to it though is this low C has an American thread to it, so you're not going to put an M3 into it. You got to find what it is, an 824 or maybe an 832nd. I'm not quite sure. I've got a few lines on, but you can see it's a lot shorter, and that's the big thing. That's the biggest trick to it. Why it's such a nice little thing. Okay, I got to find center again. A little far there. I really didn't watch where I pulled it off of. I should have. Okay, there's one side. Let's go right down here now. Get it as low as it'll go. see how far we move this way. Right there. So that's that spot. That was all the way down. So I go a little past center on this side. Should be good. And I should go a little past center on that side. Yeah, there's about center, which means that is about center. Yeah, that would be about right. Now you get pretty close, and I can fine tune from there a little bit if needed. Don't get it in crooked. Make sure you start it with your fingers square first there, fool. Both of those are pretty heavy angle. But I'm just kind of lightly turning it in. My fingers get it in as much as possible. No clamps, no nothing like that. Nothing to worry about. It's a nice, simple screw. Final tighten. Good snug. Okay. And now we can roll this baby back in there. Look at that. Nice and lower kick. Much more even to the full setup. Oh, that's right. Not going to run an M3 in there. So I need to pull that out and then find a screw. I believe I've got one in this little thing. If I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. A couple long ones. That one might work for now.
All right, catch you later, dude.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later, brother. Happy birthday again. It's not the right one. Went in, but not totally. I don't think that one was. I don't think that one is either. We'll give it a shot. This is where I might have to do a little working around because I forgot about this thing. It's strange they don't give you a little screw with it. They should. You should get a screw with it. I don't think that's the one anyways. All right, well, that's about it. I'm going to turn around and I'll find the proper screw for the arm, put that back in. But yeah, I just want to take a little time and throw this puppy back together. Get her on video so she's ready to roll. And go from there. There's my stuff. Are those? Yeah, those are way too long. But anywho, that's about it for now. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll talk to you later. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, and enjoy.